always interested in going to see art in the Art Institute of Chicago. I don't know where that came from. It just sort of happened. I had cousins who took me there, and we just really enjoyed going to the museum. I went to a college preparatory high school where there were no art classes, so as a young person, I knew I liked going to the museums and I really loved the material, but I was afraid I was going to have to major in history or in English. And when I got to Northern Illinois University and realized I could get a degree in art history, it was like my world was set. They sponsored, regularly sponsored, a print and drawing show that was national and a national clay and fiber show. And I remember seeing contemporary fiber, contemporary ceramic sculptures, functional objects from the late 60s and early 1970s when so much was going on in the field, and that really kind of sunk the ball in the hoop for me. One of the reasons I have stayed in Racine all the years I have is having Karen Johnson Boyd as my major benefactor. I not only learned about the field from her and the way she, from the 1970s forward, constantly was looking at craft media as being the equivalent to painting and sculpture media. It really helped me realize things I saw early on but didn't verbalize in my career. Looking at paintings and looking at textiles and looking at drawings and looking at photographs and looking at ceramics and looking at functional and sculptural objects made out of what we call craft media today. It all sort of goes into a Cuisinart and has done that in my mind, where I could mix things up, compare things, and be very appreciative and very moved by all of these works. The highlight of my career has been opening RAM. The opportunity to open not only a new facility, but a totally new building, a totally new museum, does not come along in every person's career. And then to have the inaugural show at the museum be highlights of the craft collection, and to stand back at one point and realize that of the more than 200 objects that were on display in the inaugural show, that I had hand-walked every one of those into this museum's collection. I stopped and realized that was why I stayed here. My colleague Glenn Adamson said to me when we opened up RAM, how did it feel to open and create the only job in America you would have left your old job at the Worcester for? And I think that really did put it in a context. I will say that at home, we collect avidly. It's everything from something at Crate and Barrel to something handmade by Ruth Duckworth. It's everything from a print, a drawing, a photograph, to a sculpture by Claire Zeisler. And we also collect children's pop-up books, so I love to mix and enjoy looking at high art and what we would call, low art today. One has a conversation with all these objects. There are instances where if you said to me a certain room in my house, what color is it? I don't know if I'd be able to tell you because you don't see enough of the wall. I do think that the strong interest in do-it-yourself activities, in websites like Etsy, I think this speaks of a need we have to communicate with doing something with our hands. If you step back and look at everyone's interest in gardening and the terrific interest in culinary artistry in this country, that it's sort of like overnight we went from being McDonald's land to being a small version of Europe here from the standpoint of America's palates changing. And the interest in cooking, the interest in making your home a beautiful environment. These are all things that are expressions of the hand and personal expressions. There's so much ahead for all of us in the field that I just look forward to being part of that.